All right, guys. So sorry about all the name calling. It's just I'm very frustrated, and I'm going to recap on a very high level now. If you watch these videos, you should be able to now keep up with what the frustration is about. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I guess in part four, I explained the analogy about the air molecules hitting the skyscraper beams, and you can understand how the wind can flow through the skyscraper, but how it also exerts a force on the skyscraper. Understand your lattice of atoms, okay, your protons and electrons, these things, these, whether you want to call them inanimate objects, whether they're balls, these things that are just flying around each other, or whether you want to admit that they're like fish or birds and they're swimming. The point is, ether is the wind moving in the straight down direction from outer space to the center of the earth to feed all the atoms in the slice of pie that's below you, okay? And so all that ether has to flow through you to get to the center of the earth, okay? To fill all those atoms, because those atoms eat the ether, and then it's just the same as how air moves to low pressure. It moves from high pressure to low pressure. There's now a low pressure void all throughout Earth, and so the ether from outer space flows right through the lattice of us, because your atoms are like empty space. It's like you got a golf ball and a softball and then 2 miles of empty space in between. So the wind of ether is just flowing right through. That is the force of gravity, okay? That's it. That's the big secret. And the reason why they don't want you guys to know that that's how simple it is because then anyone with any common sense says, okay, well, then we have a constant waterfall of Newtonian force. So how can I harness this? How can I charge an alternator to give something electricity? And then how can I propel against the ether? Okay, the same way that you can propel against air with a jet engine or a propeller. How can I propel against the ether to take off? And can I exceed the speed of light or approach the speed of light by utilizing ether as a propellant? Once I figure these things out, and something that's really interesting about electronic motors and devices, this is common knowledge. The bigger you make them, every time you double them in size, they over quadruple in strength. It's a parabolic thing. So in the thing Star Trek, where you get the big cube, the Borg, and it can keep up with the Starship Enterprise, and you say that doesn't make any sense. It actually makes really fucking great sense. The bigger you make something and engineer it with when you can interact with ether, the faster and faster and faster it would go. It's completely counterintuitive to what you're used to here on Earth. Okay, but neither here nor there. So what I'm saying is a planet could literally zoom up next to ours, chill, and then zoom away again. Like something as big as fucking Jupiter could come fly up next to Earth, chill, and then take off again. That is absolutely possible in the real laws of physics, okay? And I know you guys are like, yeah, right, bullshit. I'm telling you, it's possible. So when you read these things about this Kolob and this other planet that were next to Earth at one point and then took off, you say, oh, it's all fairy tale shit. I don't think it is. I really seriously think it's all legit, okay? And the other thing that I want to point out is Earth has water stored below in its crust that if it heats up, it can expel that water via steam through all the geysers all over the planet, and it would rain tremendously, and it can flood the planet. It can raise the water levels above the continental, most of the top of the continents. The Earth contains huge amounts of water underneath the crust, more than what's in the ocean. A lot of people don't understand that, okay? So I just want to make this all very, very clear to you guys. You think that all this stuff's fairy tales and that it can't happen. See, what they've done is, it's very clever. They've told you that religion is not scientifically plausible, and then they make science say that even the scientific possibility for any of these stories to happen is also impossible. When in reality, science says it's possible if you understand the real science, and of course religions say it happened, okay? So these events like a flood, all these different things, they Jedi mind trick you guys into having every excuse. And so here's something interesting. People hear what they want to hear. So what they're doing is they're giving you free agency to show who you really are. It's just like when you provoke a litter of wolves and you see which ones become violent and which ones obey. You tell them, first you train the puppies to try to sit. You teach them to sit. You put their butts on the ground, sit, give them a little treat, okay? And then you do something later and you provoke them after they all know how to sit, and you see which ones are the most peaceful and still sit when you tell them to sit, and you see which ones get violent the fastest, and those are the ones that you don't let breed. And the pharaohs of Egypt told the masses this. They said, this is how you turn wolves into happy, obedient dogs. And what you're doing is you're changing the genetic structure of the brain, not just the brain, but the stomach brain. You're changing the genetic structure of the animal, the hormones, everything, through controlled breeding. You are genetically engineering a creature to where it's easier for it to get something right. I've mentioned in the past that the same thing applies to humans, but humans don't realize that it applies to them. So for instance, it's a lot tougher for a guy like Mike Tyson, who has all those hormones flowing through his body, to behave properly and ethically, as what you say, you need to be peaceful at all times and blah, 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 blah. When he's got all these little douchebag guys with arms as big as mine coming up to him, hey man, I'm fighting with Mike Tyson. It's like, dude, fuck off. I'm so annoyed with you guys. You guys are like these little fucking gnats who won't leave me alone about, let's fight with each other. Hit me, Mike Tyson. Oh my God, I'm going to sue Mike Tyson. He hit me. It's like, what do you want? Get the fuck away from me, okay? And the other thing is when your whole career is based on violence, is solving your problems, right? Then what happens? You become violent to solve problems. It's the way that you're wired, okay? But here's another way to look at it. If I took horse testosterone in a syringe and jacked it in your leg, and then I just jacked you with steroids, and you're like, you motherfucker, you're going to start roid raging because now you have those, and you might kill me. You might decide it's a wise idea to kill me, okay? Because you don't know what I just jacked in your leg with this syringe. And now you go in front of a judge and a jury and you say, Your Honor, I was roid raging against my choice. Brandon jacked me with this testosterone stuff. I've never killed anybody before in my life. I've never even beat anybody up. I don't have any, stuff on my record about beating people up. It was obviously a bad chemical reaction within my bloodstream. I was out of my mind. I don't want to go to jail or the electric chair for this situation. I don't want to go to prison for the rest of my life because I killed Brandon. The jury is probably going to sit there and say, you know what? He has a point. That's not the real Bob. Bob isn't a bad guy. Brandon jacked Bob with horse testosterone, and Brandon got what he deserved. I think Brandon deserved to die, that dumb fucker. And there's a very good high likelihood that in our court system, Bob would get away with murder, okay? He would get off on the charges because but here's the interesting thing. What happens when Mike Tyson produces that much testosterone regularly that what I jacked into Bob with the horse syringe makes Bob become violent, you see? So what you guys don't understand is it's not an equal playing field. Some people are much more apt to becoming violent due to the amount of testosterone and hormones going through their body and the way that their parents raised them and all these different things. So what happens is, their environment, maybe their parents weren't around, whatever it is. So what the world leaders understand is there is a cloaked Darwinism here. They are genetically engineering humanity to become more like German Shepherds. So when you have these videos like these guys are evil, they're trying to change us. Yes, they are. They don't want to be on a planet with a bunch of fucking wolves with nukes. They want to be on a planet with German Shepherds and nukes be lockbox, and the German Shepherds say, yes, I'm fine with that. Okay, that's what they fucking want. Okay, and it doesn't mean that you worship Satan to come to that conclusion. So it's very frustrating when you watch these internet specials about these guys are devil worshipers and they just want to fuck with humanity and be mean to us. It's a little bit more complicated than that, my mindless fuckers. Okay, I'm just being blunt. So my paradox, let's get back to my paradox, okay? My paradox is I listen to people complain all day long about inflation. I listen to people who are a little bit smarter complain that it's because they keep printing more money, which is causing the inflation. I listen to people who are even a little bit more smarter say this then allows them to raise interest rates on us, and now the banks make all the money, and they can funnel that money through many various ways to BlackRock and Vanguard and all these things, and they're buying up all the houses. So we're going to end up as serfs to these guys. They're going to own everything. We're not going to own property anymore. And then they're going to be able to control the vaccines because once we live on their property, they call the shots. No pun intended, right? They call the shots on whether or not you live or die. And they can genetically engineer, brew up each, vaccine specific for individuals. And good luck proving why yours was different than somebody else's. It's like trying to prove is your cheeseburger the same as somebody else's cheeseburger from McDonald's. One causes food poisoning, the other doesn't. And you guys are all so damn stupid, you use the words, the vaccine is not safe. That's like saying the cheeseburger is not safe. Which cheeseburger, you low IQ pieces of shit who can't form a fucking sentence correctly because you're so fucking Down syndrome fucking retarded. Which cheeseburger is not safe? What do you mean? They're all not safe. Wrong. If you say they're all not safe, now McDonald's can sue you because some of them are safe. You've got to come to grips with the fact that not every fucking cheeseburger that comes out of McDonald's is the same. You've got to come to grips with the fact that not every night when you go to the buffet are you going to get food poisoning and not get food poisoning, okay? You've got to come to grips with that, and that takes a certain fucking amount of IQ that I don't think that you guys actually have it. I'm disgusted with how fucking stupid you guys are. I can't have a logical conversation with you guys. It's fucking annoying as fuck to me. Because if I am supposed to have a guilty conscience that you guys are supposed to be freed from your cloaked slavery, because you're in a cloaked slavery, whether you understand that or not, and if I'm supposed to come out with a system and explain to the world and be the good guy, be like Jesus, okay? I keep hearing all these people, you need to be more like Jesus. You need to get tighter with God. Getting tighter with God, according to my religion that I grew up learning about, means you need to be more like Jesus. And the more and more you're like Jesus, the more you care about the system being unjust. That's why Jesus went in the temple and was cracking the bullwhip, because the people were impersonating, oh, these goods are important because they're of God. And people still do this shit today. You have kosher foods. But again, I'm just on a rampage right now. Kosher foods are only allowed to have, I think, like 6 different, I could be wrong, but the point is, it's a very small number of added ingredients, whereas your food that's not kosher has over 300 different flavor enhancers, which are actually what the cancer-causing agents are contained within. That's where they hide them, because on the label they say, flavor enhancers, artificial flavors, preservatives. That's where they hide all the chemicals, not in the ingredients that they list out, but neither here nor there. So they've created magic tricks that only the smart people can find their way out of, and all the other stupid people are just like, is it because the food is blessed by the Jewish guys? I think it's because the food is blessed by the Jewish guys. Don't get me wrong, there's some stupid Jewish masses, and the Jewish elite don't like the Jewish masses either. What you guys aren't smart enough to understand is the world leaders don't like any of the stupid people on any teams. So they orchestrate events, wars, to kill off the stupid people from all teams. Do you think that I'm not going to get into that because that'll get the video taken down. You just have to ask yourself, do the Jewish elites, are they really that bothered? Ask yourself the question, are they really that bothered when a bunch of Jewish masses get taken out? Are they really that racist to where all the dumbest Jews need to live forever? We need to preserve all the dumbest ones. We need to protect every dumb fuck on the planet. I'm not going to tell you what my answer is, but I hope you apply some fucking common sense to what I'm saying right now and look at history and realize, aha, I see what's happening now. There is a system. It is a cloaked Darwinism for stupid people. And it drives me fucking nuts that the people who do good for me in my life that I'm trying to repay and be a big hero and say, haha, we're going to solve the problem, they don't care. They're not smart enough to get it. They don't understand. They just don't understand it. It's above their heads. And then they're finally just like, once you hit them with all this stuff, it maxes them out and you see the like terror in their eyes. And you sit there and you say, look, what you want is on the other side of fear, right? Death is also on the other side of fear. Death's over this way. What you want is also over here this way. You're scared to move. You just want to sit like this and say, this is good. That could be the right answer. Don't get me wrong. That's what I've entertained, is let's not move. Let's just stay put and let's not challenge the system. That's what I've done for the last 15 years, 20 years. I've sat still because I realized, okay, wait a second. There's literally prophecies engineered to fuck with the person who does what I'm doing. And I know that what I'm doing is anti-Pelosi, Biden, Obama, Bush family, Clinton, I can see, I've been able to see anti-9/11. I've been able to see through things for a long time. And I know that what I'm doing is the opposite direction. If those things are bad for the masses, I'm trying to create something that's good for the masses. But once you apply the concept of quality over quantity, that means you're supposed to appreciate the people in high places instead of worry about the masses. You see, the masses are like cancer. That's how these guys view it all, okay? They are trying to figure out how to suppress the tumor. how to keep the population down of the cancer, the idiots, okay? They want you to rise up and join a super corporation, whether you become a lawyer for an insurance agency, whether you become a lawyer for, a car company like General Motors or whatever, whether you become an engineer, whether you become a CEO, whatever it is that you become, okay, an executive of some sort, they want you as an individual, wherever you are in this world right now, to rise up and join a big established team that's going to benefit from inflation because you had the IQ to understand Microsoft's going to benefit from inflation. JP Morgan Chase is going to benefit from inflation. BlackRock's going to benefit from inflation. Tesla's going to benefit from inflation. All these big establishments that are making billions and trillions of dollars, they're going to continue to benefit from inflation, okay? They are, the government agencies, the CIA, the FBI, they're going to benefit from inflation, okay? The money prints, okay? The senators, they're going to benefit from inflation. So the masses are not. The masses are going to get starved. They're going to become nothing. And so Jesus was for the masses. He wanted to make the system more fair. Meanwhile, your History Channel specials, this is fucking fact, guys. Do not dispute me on this. Get off your fucking ass and go watch a TV special on the Discovery Channel, on the History Channel. The documentaries about the Antichrist say he's going to try to make the world more fair. Yeah, no shit. That's what we're supposed to be doing if you want to be like Jesus. So why is it that if you're supposed to be like Jesus, that when you try to make the world more fair for the little guy, okay, like Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and Jesus all wanted to do, right? Why is it that you're the Antichrist if that's what your supposed Christ did? Therefore, one of these things is not like the other. There's an inconsistency here. And you need to recognize when you roll the credits of these Antichrist documentaries, who's making them? What's their motive? And then when you actually study the Bible for what's it actually say about the Antichrist, it's very vague. It doesn't say much at all. It's just, and so what they've done is the Antichrist prophecy, just so that you guys understand, is engineered to take down anybody who brings about super technology, which results in super weapons, and anybody who eliminates the cloaked taxation without representation of the masses. Okay, the cloaked taxation that gives the money to the super elites, those games, they want those to stay intact, and they don't want the super weapons to exist. So anybody who comes along saying, hey, I figured out free energy from the sky. The ether is just raining through all this stuff all the time like a waterfall. And I've also figured out a new monetary system where they can't tax us. Antichrist, Antichrist. Antichrist, Antichrist. But here's the kicker, guys. Here's where it gets fucking weird, okay? And this is where it gets spooky. This is where people don't want to talk to him anymore because they're like, he scares me. They predicted that his logo is going to be 666. My initials are BBB. My logo has been lowercase BBB from the time that I was in grade school, okay? Because my teacher pointed out to me that uppercase BBB is Better Business Bureau and that I can't use that logo. So I said, that's fine. I'll just be lowercase BBB. I don't mind. Whatever. So that's been my logo. Nobody twisted my arm and said, you need to do this so we can frame you later. Nobody then, after they twisted my arm to have that logo, then said, okay, now we're going to do this. Also, nobody controlled my birthday. February 12th. Maybe you're paying attention by now. Okay, so there's these prophecies that every 2,000-ish years there's going to be somebody who shows up who's self-enlightened, who teaches the masses. Why is the self-enlightened part important? Because if you're not self-enlightened and you're enlightened the other way, it means you're enlightened by others. And so you say, well, what's the big deal? Because when you're enlightened by others about the big secrets, they have you swear to secrecy first, where death is a consequence. That's what Skull and Bones is about. Okay, so in my opinion, so they are controlling when wars happen, who dies on average, where the death is occurring. They're controlling what has to happen anyway. They know that if they let humanity go, people are going to fight anyway, and people are going to blow everything up. So instead of everything get blown up, they want to control the fight where it's at a trickle pace, the same way as instead of blow up a can of gasoline, you create a V8 engine to blow up the gasoline bit by bit by bit by bit and harness that as a moving forward energy, okay? They're using what's already going to happen. They already know that you guys are going to fight over stupid shit, okay? And that you guys are going to figure out weapons. And if they don't control the lending of money and instead we're lending each other money, which is what my system allows us to do, it frees us from having to use the banks to borrow money to accomplish X, Y, and Z. Next thing you know, people can assemble militias and we get into arms races. Let's use the money to do this. Let's use the money to do that. I'm going to invent better things. Oh, look what I've invented. I figured out the Ark of the Covenant thing. I figured out the Eye of Ra thing. I figured out this. I've got a laser gun that can level armies. I've got an invisible gun that can give somebody cancer from a distance. That's real, guys. X-ray laser, it's real. You can sit there and point it at somebody and they get cancer later, okay? Good luck proving that fucking murder. The guy doesn't die for a fucking year, and who knows when he got shot by who? Nobody knows. You hide the fucking... You have no concept that you are in a padded room. You guys complain constantly. Someone needs to free us from these assholes, and you guys are all too fucking stupid to understand the assholes aren't the assholes. Your ignorance is the asshole factor. And that's what I have a hard time reconciling, because I have been programmed by all of you, the masses and churches and everything, that the right thing to do is be like Jesus. I actually have the IQ high enough to actually be kind of like Jesus. I'm not going to say I'm Jesus. I'm not going to say I'm as good as Jesus. I'm just saying, for some reason, you guys are down here, and all that you can do is just be nice to each other on a one-on-one basis, which is fine. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you've been nice to me. But you guys can't solve the big problems that you complain about. And that's weird to me. It's like, why can't you do it? Why can't you understand this is the solution? No, gold standard solution. Oh, you're a retard. Why can't you guys understand that this is what would make eBay or Amazon better, and that what you're doing right now with your 9-to-5 job to make money is going to be highly dwarfed by if you were to help me get this patent done? I could throw you millions of dollars as chump change, because this is going to make eBay and Amazon unbelievably better. Okay, and the masses are going to demand that this exists, and whoever doesn't pay me royalties doesn't get it. Do you understand how much money we're fucking talking? Do you understand that you're prioritizing your time wrong to work on your little 9-to-5 thing instead of go down in history as the person who helped me with this idea? Which I'm not saying that I need your help anymore. It's just, what you guys have to understand is, when I accomplish this thing alone instead of on a team, it jades me. It makes me realize the world leaders are right about you mindless fucks. Because that's what it is. You would literally, if you really believed that this is going to generate a lot of money, you would want a piece of it. You'd say, Brandon, how can I help you? You'd be knocking on my door at 6 a.m. Brandon, I saw your video about the thing. It finally clicked. My fucking IQ is 60. It finally got it. I want to help you with this patent. Is it too late for me to be on board? Well, let's sign a contract. If I help you with the patent, do I get $1 million later, or do I get a percentage or something later? Cool. Sign here. Great. Let's go. Okay, what are we doing? That would be the attitude that you guys would have. You would say, I see what you're doing here, Brandon. You're trying to make the world a better place with a more efficient system where eBay and Amazon and all these things don't tax us as much with fees. And also, you've invented a way for industrial revolution to happen at a much faster pace due to what you have invented here, because that's what it does. The invention rate fucking skyrockets. Now again, if invention rate skyrocketing leads to super weapons and physics breakthroughs, that's a bad thing if you're the world leaders. If you're the world leaders, you're trying to help everybody understand this life isn't that bad, guys. It's not that bad. I know you're being fucking taxed to death. I know that money's coming to us so that we can try to control everything. But that's because we don't want to see you guys blow everything up. Because we think that you guys are a bunch of fucking stupid baboons. Okay? So, do you see my paradox? Do you see the decision that I'm faced with? Do you see why when I explain how an EDIF works on a car and 9 out of 10 people on fucking Facebook can't understand what the fuck I'm saying, that causes me to realize the world leaders are right about you fucks. That's the paradox. The world leaders are right. They're not evil. They're right. You guys are stupid. That's it. I don't know how else to explain it. And if you're not stupid, the one watching this video, understand that I'm talking about the people below you. There's a lot of stupid people. What do the pharaohs say that you do with stupid people? You either kill them, let them kill each other in war. So you kill them, where it's like, hey, I want to kill you. Let them kill each other in war. trick them into thinking that they got to die for some blood sacrifice reason because of a timed eclipse where you don't tell people it's on a timer, on a schedule, okay? You tell them, oh, we have to have a blood sacrifice to make the sun happy again. Otherwise, we're not going to have any crops next year. So kill them one of those three ways, okay? Then what's another option would you do with stupid people? You enslave them, make them act properly. Don't let them act bad, okay? And then what's the third option? You lie to them with imaginary carrots to get them to act properly so that they don't act bad. Otherwise, the last option is you let them have free agency. Oh yeah, this is what Jesus wants, everybody to have free agency. Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, they just want everybody to have free agency and pure democracy, and just everybody just decide what you want, and we're just going to do that. And what happens is humanity evolves into a lawless, stupid society that has big weapons, is what it comes down to, because that's what humans want to do. They want to tinker, they want to develop higher technology, and they want to do whatever they want to do. Okay? It's very simple. So you have to understand that road leads to total annihilation of a planet. I mentioned on Facebook the other day, the Giza Plateau, those three pyramids are shaped like Orion's belt. Then we point our big telescopes at Orion's belt. We look for a planet like Earth, and we don't say there's nothing there. Well, understand those stars, those suns, are much bigger than our sun. Like our sun's this big compared to that big. It's because as stars grow, because they're consuming ether, as they grow, they annihilate their solar systems. They burn up their planets, okay? And their planets become suns. So their Jupiter becomes a sun. Their Saturn becomes a sun. And then they can actually choose to spread out. And you say, well, how can they choose to spread out? It's a long story, but just understand, it's not magic how the orbits stay intact. It's because, I'm getting too far, but I'll just go ahead and say it. The planets like the sun, like the Earth, Saturn, Jupiter, and then the stars like the sun, they're intelligent. So you guys believe that you're going to invent an atomic computer? The sun is trying every atomic computer combination right now known to possibility. So if atomic computers are possible, if intelligence from atomic geometry is possible, rest assured the sun has achieved it, okay? That sun is alive and thinking. Oh, you're like the Muslims now. You think the sun needs to be worshipped. What if I told you that every bit of religion on this planet has some truth to it? It also has a pound of bullshit, but it has an ounce of truth, okay? And if you can figure out on the scavenger hunt how to figure out the truth from each religion and put it all together, you turn into something very powerful, okay? You start to figure out what's really going on, and meanwhile, you see a bunch of other fucking tribal monkeys. Chevrolet's the best. Ford's the best. No, you guys, this Chevrolet is good for this reason. This Ford's good for this reason. This Ford sucks for this reason. This Chevrolet is good for this reason. If you use the best of both of those cars and build a kit car or another brand, or convince one of those two brands to do what we just explained, then you would have an even better car yet. Okay, that's my concept with religion. You guys don't want a scavenger hunt for what's true within each religion. You're like, oh no, that's horrible. Those people all just need to die, and I don't want to be on the team that gets killed because that would make me a traitor. They just all need to die. I don't even need to learn their name first. They just need to die without a trial. If they cross me, if they don't agree that I'm the shit and that I have the perfect God, they need to die. I am pure egotistical motherfucker. Okay, and that's all that 90% of the humanity is, unfortunately, and that's why wars exist. War is not the problem. War is the solution to getting rid of the stupid fucks. Like, I don't know if you guys really get that or not. See ya.